Good morning, Downieville. Welcome to Dirt Magic, the Downieville Sessions. I'm your host, Martin Scheel. Dirt Magic, the Downieville Sessions, brings you good times from the great people of the Downieville Classic. In the days leading up to the 25th anniversary of this epic event, you will hear from some great people, including past champions, riders, volunteers, staff, guests, and locals, sharing their classic stories that all began some 28 years ago. Our guest today began the road to her professional success from behind the Iron Curtain, emerging from those closed borders to become an Olympian and one of the most successful and inspirational professional athletes to grace this blue planet. She is a multiple champion of the Downieville Classic, multiple World Cup Cyclocross winner, and even broke 7 ribs in one race. 7. Please welcome our good friend, Katerina Nash. Katerina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. And in our previous discussions, I understand that this is actually race day for you. You're podcasting in the morning and doing some racing in the afternoon, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. I'm in Arizona, jumping into the Cactus Cup, which is kind of a warm up race for me before the Cape Epic. So I'll be heading to South Africa on Monday, and couldn't be happier about the mountain bike season back in full force. Just with the pandemic and too many gravel events and such. I'm just excited to be back on my mountain bike and mainly racing a lot of mountain biking this year. So.
Well, that's good. Well, we're certainly happy to have you back at the Downieville Classic with us. And it'll be good to see you back on the mountain bike. I know that you're probably going to be racing in the single track series, new coming up this year. Super stoked about that series.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really do all those races. My other job takes me on the road, so I'll miss some of them. But I could not be happier about Downieville finally coming back again. It has been kind of my big deal local race, and I missed it. I missed it a lot. So glad to see it come back.
Well, I'm glad the timing worked out because, for most people that are in the industry like yourself, and of course, being a pro rider as well, state jumping, town jumping, country jumping, but boy, you're next level. You're actually continent jumping.
Yeah, I mean, as far as racing, I actually don't do much of the continent racing anymore. Having said that, I am heading to South Africa, but that probably will be my only international race this year, apart from the back 40 at Whistler in Canada. So yeah, I just travel for UCI work, which is kind of going all over where the international racing is happening. So that's why I have to get on the plane and travel quite a bit. But I've definitely enjoyed last few years of driving to bike races, and so that's Downieville. Downieville is one of the best because it's really just around the corner.
Yeah, that does make it nice. Interesting when you're talking about, kind of the globe trotting and especially with your career and all of your racing, looking back, just a few years ago, in the Czech Republic, did you ever think that, you'd be sitting, in front of a machine on a podcast, talking about being, in my opinion, one of the most successful and inspiring, pro athletes, especially to young ladies, girls, and women alike. Was that in your future?
Well, I was definitely an athlete from very young age, so kind of dreaming of the big league of racing the Olympics and World Championship is always it always was on my radar, but I don't think I thought much about being like what comes with it. I just wanted to be part of it. So I never really focused on like what can I get out of it, like as far as the fame or you know uh, winning races. I just knew I wanted to be part of it, and then as my career progressed over the years, I've definitely enjoyed the additional benefits of being an athlete and inspiring others to lead, you know, a healthy lifestyle that includes exercise, or even challenging themselves to jump into an event that maybe seems scary at first, but with some work and some progression, they can tackle it. And then obviously the work that we have done with Luna Ambassador teams, which was this kind of ambassador group run by Cliff Bar back in the day, that was really meaningful. We really kind of encourage a lot of amateur athletes to ride a bike, how to ride a mountain bike, how to fix a mountain bike, how to find a good group to ride mountain bike with. And yeah, that was really fun to be part of. So no, I don't think as a kid, I definitely didn't picture uh, what what it's like to be an athlete and what all involves. I just thought that you just train and you race, and that's kind of, that's all I knew back then. And certainly even throughout my career, the description of the job has been changing dramatically, with obviously social media coming in now, and all the involvement with sponsors, and um, yeah, so it's constantly evolving, and I think that's what I really like about being a professional athlete.
Well, it's certainly been a big evolution. I mean, when you think back, and it's, for someone like me that doesn't have a full understanding of what, growing up in, the Czech Republic would be like, especially then. I mean, it was at that point in time, at least up until, probably right with somewhere. Well, I'm not going to name years because, yeah, if you're, yeah, but I mean, it was part of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, yeah, I grew up behind the Iron Curtain, and luckily things really changed when I was ready to get going. So, right around 12, 13, the borders open up, and then I could just go really anywhere in the in Europe and in the world, which expanded my horizon as far as athletic career goes, because immediately we were allowed to travel to the Alps, uh, go race in Austria, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Scandinavia. So uh, really set me up for quite a beautiful international career later on. So
Boy, you really had some spectacular recreation areas in your immediate vicinity there for sure.
yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I grew up in Czechoslovakia, and from uh, this um, this peak above my hometown on a clear day, you could see the Alps. So the Alps are about 3 hours away. And as a kid, we would be like, oh my God, here are the Alps, and we can't really go there. And then one day the border was open, and we're like, we're going to ride our bikes to the Alps, and just a bunch of kids and couple, willing coaches took a whole bunch of kids across the border, and we just started riding our bikes anywhere we wanted to. So, yeah, the early '90s, that's a that's a really cool era, personally, where it was fun to have that kind of adventure and have the ability to explore the world that was prohibited to us. Yet it was just around the corner. Like, I seriously grew up half an hour from Western Germany, and couldn't go there. And then a few months later, it was like hop on the bike and ride across the border without a passport. So big changes.
Wasn't there a kind of a catchy name for that? I don't know if it's politically correct anymore to say it, but was it called the Velvet Divorce? Is that what it was called, or something like that?
So I think that's referring to the split between Czech Republic and Slovakia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The nonviolent revolution or something like that.
So the Velvet Revolution is it's part of the uh, East European bloc. So it all started kind of crumbling in Germany, and then the rest of the Eastern Europe joined in and just demanded their independence. So in Czech Republic, it's known as the Velvet Revolution because it's one of the few places that there was no loss of human life, as far as we know. And then we continued a very, very friendly split with Slovakia in another year or two. And some of the Eastern European countries obviously weren't as lucky when it come to kind of dividing their regions and their countries and just kind of claiming their territories. So yeah, so that's what they call it, velvet. We're kind of pretty mellow,
there's
pretty mellow community.
Another velvet that you were partaking in at that point in time. So your early athletic career wasn't necessarily on two wheels, but two skis.
Yes. So my first sport was cross country skiing, and that's actually how I end up in the U.S. I came over on skiing scholarship, and bikes came later on. Even though bikes always been part of my athletic life, I should say bike racing came in a little later on in my life.
So did you had the opportunity to be an Olympian, and is it five times going to the Olympics?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive. Unknowingly or knowingly, you may be the first true Olympian I've ever spoken with, which is pretty interesting. Unless I know there's a lot of great athletes out there, and you never know who's there. But were they all skiing, all cycling, or a combination?
So I did 2 Winter Olympics and 3 Summer Olympics.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, that's already, just to have that on a resume is pretty impressive. And you mentioned this earlier, Team Luna through Cliff Bar, and definitely a supportive company. I mean, they've been supporting us for 2 decades, and we wouldn't be where we are today, either event wise or stewardship wise, without Cliff and everything they've done, not only for athletes, but for us, and monetary support, and of course, food support for our events. But, the Luna team was pretty spectacular and original and groundbreaking. And you're one of the original members. And my understanding now, the only original member still on the team.
Well, unfortunately, there's no longer a team, but we did get 20 years of support from Cliff Bar, and that goes just beyond any understanding of, like, it was just such an incredible time to be part of. And yes, I was one of the first one, and I was one of the last one. Lasting like the entire 20 years. So I'm just so thankful to Cliff Bar for, my cycling career. They're part of why I became a cyclist. I signed up pretty much at the end of my ski career with little bit of cycling knowledge and experience, but really my career kind of got going because I stepped onto the team as a development rider. I was surrounded by incredible athletes like Alison Dunlop, Marla Streb, Shawnee Van Landingham that helped me understand what biking was all about. And with the years of training and racing along these amazing ladies, I kind of got to the top of the World Cup eventually, and then added cyclocross as well. So, a lot of thank you goes to Cliff Bar, and they are, even though I'm not part of like any team at the moment, Cliff Bar is still sponsoring me in my privateer career, or whatever the description is these days, essentially.
Boy, yeah, your best guess is my best guess at this point in time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
When you first joined that team, back in, was it 2000 when it was created? Somewhere right in there, correct?
2002.
2002. Who would you? You already mentioned some names there. Obviously like Marla, but like who would have you looked up to? The most during those early years, and then we'll flip side that to who do you think probably looked to you the most in the later years of the team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the cross country part, like Alison Dunlop was a world champion the season before that, so she was already very established, very accomplished racer. So it was great to have her guidance in my early years, and I love riding with Marla, even though she was always downhiller and did a different thing. She loved the training. She loved the cross country, but her energy and her enthusiasm for adventure and just riding bikes and just kind of challenging herself, like I really like that. So yeah, I kind of took a little bit from that, like, more serious cross country side of the athletes on the team, but I also had a lot of fun hanging out with the downhillers because they obviously have a different skill set, but it's a skill set that came in handy. So riding with Marla and learning a few tricks from her was definitely beneficial along the way. And Downieville would most certainly be one of the races that I benefited from spending time with Marla out on the trail.
Yeah, we were lucky. I know at least one year she came in and raced the downhill, and it may have been more than one, but it was we were fortunate and very lucky to have her to come out for sure. Um, and
Yeah,
then
maybe some
so
people will remember our river jump with Baby Bjorn.
yeah, that's right. Oh boy, you know what? And I'm glad that you brought that up. And she's probably someone that I definitely need to reach out to if I can get her on the podcast. And I may have a picture or even video of that still, probably much to her chagrin.
So for those listeners that are not familiar with this story, Marla was at Downieville, not racing this year because uh, she was mom to tiny baby. I don't remember the dates, but I think her idea was just like, oh, let's have some fun. And she signed up for the river jump and stuffed some little doll or something in the Baby Bjorn. But obviously, people in the crowd had no idea. All they've been hearing the whole weekend is that there's Marla's trip and she just had a baby. And so she goes in and jumps in the river with a fake baby. Needless to say, the crowd went pretty silent for a second there.
I may have had something to do with instigating the silence as well. Because if I was in fact announcing for that one, I probably didn't let anybody know until after she was in the water that, and just so you guys know, that's just a doll. It's not Marla's baby. Oh, good times. So I'm glad you brought that one up. That's a pretty good little zinger there. Yeah, the stories about Downieville, and of course, that's this podcast, through Dirt Magic, but the Downieville sessions, we're gonna dive into a little bit more of that right now. And speaking of Downieville, so how did you first get to Downieville? What brought you there? Was it the race or something else?
I'm pretty sure it was the race. Um, I mean, being in Truckee, you hear about Downieville, and I had um, my friend uh, Jeff Wright was always part of the organization. He was volunteering at the trail, and so I had been just chatting with him and him suggesting that I go check it out. I really, really don't remember the details, but I know Jeff played certain role in that. And then I think it finally fit in my schedule because Downieville is kind of one off. It's a very unique event, and it doesn't quite fit the downhill category. It doesn't quite fit the cross country category, and makes it so unique. So I think my first time at Downieville, I only could sign up for cross country, so that was my introduction to Downieville, just doing the cross country, and then the next year, I don't know if it was next year or 2 years later, I was like, I must do the whole thing and I need to figure out how to get in the downhill as well. And ever since, I always race the all mountain category.
And you've raced it well, because I believe you're a 5-time all mountain champion for the Downieville Classic.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a really, really good run. Um, and I love the idea of combining the downhill, which is, not really the downhill that we know from like downhill racing. I think could be just either really long downhill or super D or whatever we want to, whatever name we want to give it to. It's obviously like for me last few years it's been around the 50-minute mark effort, so it's a very long long downhill, but with combination with the cross country where we have to climb to the packer saddle and essentially descend the downhill as well in the cross country. So it's a it's it's a unique idea for the race, and I really appreciate the equipment selection because only one bike, same tires, everything has to be same for both days. And I always feel like that Downieville is a big reason why we have such amazing trail bikes these days, because these brands just wanted to figure out like what is a cool bike that will go downhill really fast but it can climb, and it was the bike that we all been looking for and Downieville Classic just always tinkering with the like, how do I make my cross country bike go comfortably on the downhill, and how do I make my trail bike climb well. So I don't know, I credit Downieville for starting this whole category of bikes that I feel like everybody wants to ride these days. At least I do. I want a capable bike on the downhill, but something that will still climb really well. And that is definitely not a hardtail.
Ooh, boy, yeah, I remember. I remember my Park Pro Comp hardtail with a RockShox Judy on the front. The old elastomers, and yeah, my first experience down the Downieville downhill on that bad boy, and oh man, that was an eye opener for sure.
I don't think I've ever ridden hardtail in Downieville, even my early years. It was definitely full suspension bikes always, and I pushed the limit. I definitely was more on the cross country bike, mainly because that's all I had back in the day. Uh, but yeah, I mean, seeing the single speed hardtail uh, crowd out there, I mean, all the credit to them. I hope I
To
hope
their
somebody
insanity.
introduced them to a real trail bike with gears. They're gonna have so much fun.
I've been monitoring the registrations too, and yeah, we've got I think there's about 12 to 15 that are riding just the pure cross country, and I think we've got 12 to 15 that are in both in the all mountain, and that's still, and most of the single speeders obviously will remain on that hardtail ultralight bike, whatever they can do, and hopefully run probably a little stronger tires, but
Yeah, those guys are impressive, and the ladies. I have so much respect for them, and yeah, they're badass. But it's not the way I want to live my life.
me, my body won't be able to take it anymore. So that's for sure.
Yeah, same here.
So 5-time champ, going for number 6 this year, and I think Kelly Emmett is right there behind you on our champion board. And I don't know if she's continuing to race. I haven't looked to see if she's in the registration already, or if she is continuing to race. But between you and Kelly, um, Rachel Lloyd's on there a couple of times. Really just a few ladies have rounded out that entire championship board, and it's very similar on the men's side too, with Carl Decker, Jason Mosler, on there multiple times as well. So you're definitely in the company of some great riders and supporters of everything we've done, and of course you've branched out even in our races. You've won at least 2 that I know of our lost and found gravel grinders, the 100 milers. I think the last year that we did it prior to the pandemic, and I think back in 2017 too. I remember you're at least at the
Yeah,
top of the podium. You're almost always on the podium, no matter what. So,
well, I like going back to like having an international career and like packing my bike and traveling all around the world. And like, I am so excited that there's local racing that I can do, like 2 hours from my home. Like many times, like it's close enough that I don't even have to book a hotel or stay overnight somewhere. Just drive back and forth, and that is just really something that I always appreciated throughout my uh, international career, but especially now when I just want to race my bike, but I don't always want to take 40 hours to get there. So, uh, yeah, I've done obviously Lost and Found. I've done Grind Duro. I've done Downieville Classic, and yeah, try to not just like support you guys, because I appreciate the local race organizers and having events, but you guys also help me to keep my fitness, get my racing going, to prepare for some of the big events. And I think one of the cool stories is actually that I raced Downieville Classic, and I forget the years now, but I raced Downieville Classic, and then weekend after that, I end up winning Monsanan World Cup,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was pretty cool because it was a really really busy summer. I think I raced in Spain week before Downieville, and I traveled back to California, and I was on the fence. I was like, can I even fit this in? Like, it's all these weeks of racing and bouncing around the world, but I just couldn't, I couldn't just skip it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Downieville, and it was end of like really really good season, but I couldn't crack that win. I was like second and third and second again. And I was like, I will never win World Cup. I'm just gonna go to Downieville, have fun, and just kind of like be in that mountain bike community that makes me happy. And I went out there, had a great race, had a great weekend, and traveled 2 months, and then just so refreshed. And uh, and I ended up winning once in that World Cup, and that just felt really good and made me realize that um, it's not there's not one way to get to the top of the game. It's just like you got to find what makes you happy, and racing Downieville always made me happy, and just being there with the community, and and getting a good getting a good solid 2 days of hard racing. It's always helped my fitness too.
So there you have it for all you up and coming World Cup champion hopefuls. There, from the words of Katerina Nash herself, a World Cup champion, a Downieville champion. There is the recipe. Come to the Downieville Classic, have a couple of good days of hard fun racing, and then let her rip at the World Cup, and it'll help elevate you to that top spot. there's a sales pitch right there going in. So. Well, let's talk some Downieville Classic details, just specific to the race and you. Obviously in the early years racing cross country only, and then to the all mountain. Which one of the races is your favorite?
I really like the downhill. I really kind of always been good racing against the clock. Um, coming, going back to cross country skiing, where half the races might be mass start, half might be just time trial style. So it was always good challenge for me, and sort of like quite familiar with that effort. But when it comes to the downhill, it's really cool because people are so focused on the like, oh my god, it's downhill and it's all this technical stuff and da da da. But like, there is so much pedaling in this downhill. So finding that balance of having enough energy to pedal and having good lines and being efficient on the downhill, like there's just so much that keeps you occupied throughout the race, that I really like the effort, and just having this like rip down the down the mountain in the race scenario. It's also very very unique, right? Because if you go right down a hill, you will run into other people that are out there enjoying the trail, and it's the only polite way to slow down and make sure everybody's okay. So you never get to fly down that downhill for the entirety, right? Like you might have fun sections, but you have to be sharing the trails with others. So yeah, I definitely love the downhill. I do hope we can make some changes for this year edition because we were starting behind the hardtail single speeder in the women's category, and I don't love passing those guys, and I do pass them. So, uh, anyway, that's a conversation for a different day, probably. But
Oh, I
yeah,
will. I'll take it to note.
I do love the idea of the Downieville downhill. I think it's a one of the coolest time trials, coolest races that there is because it has everything. There's little uphill, there's technical, I mean, it's 15 minutes effort. There's just, the best all around athletes come on top. And if you do look at the historic results of combination of cross country and downhill, it is the people that can do both, because we have a lot of people that can cross country and a lot of people that can go downhill fast. But I think it's like this is a pretty cool group of people that are like got skills for all of it. And so
Yeah.
it's always fun. It's always fun to watch who can handle everything, including the equipment, because that's another huge part of Downieville. Like we all can go really fast, but can you go fast and keep air in your tires?
Well, and that brings up my next question because that inherently always comes up. I mean, the bike build itself. I mean, there's obviously so many different manufacturers, setups, and like we were talking about earlier, more of a downhill hybrid or more of a cross country hybrid. What's your choice? But tires in Downieville ultimately can make or break you. And I mean, there's how many times have I been at that finish line on the microphone saying, cheering on the person that's running with their bike or riding that rear flat in across, and their wheel is just baked completely from riding the entire first divide with no tire. So yeah, how do you choose that? I mean, pressure is brutal up there because too much, you're never, you're never going to make the turn. Too little, and the rock's going to eat your tire. But yeah, what's your, I don't want you to give up your secret, but maybe just kind of skew us in a direction.
Yeah, I don't really have any secrets. I mean, it like you say, it's complicated because like the cross country, you might be, unless you're the elite male off front of the rest of the pack, you ultimately might be in some kind of group. So you may not get the perfect run down the downhill, which you will get on Sundays. So it's like on Saturday, you could go with lighter tire maybe. But you can because you have to have the same tires. So it is finding that tire that will work for every possible scenario, that will roll well but corners well, is durable, not too light but not too heavy. So that means different thing for every rider, based on their styles. I've been so fortunate to run some type of Maxxis tire throughout the entire Downieville Classic career that I've had, and that's what I'll do again this summer. I think last time I raced there was my first time with inserts. I had Cushcore in my tires, which also uh, really helped me drastically, kind of going with different tire that rolled better, but still could manage everything. So it is a tough decision, but I think as people go pre-ride, it's always good to bring few different tires
Yes.
and just
Yeah.
just see what works. And then in that race effort, it's so much is like managing that equipment for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's do some fun stuff. So, Downieville Classic, either your craziest or most memorable moment.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
uh
I have a tough one when people ask me that, and just because it's been so many years of being there, but and then I have to tell them, luckily we didn't have cell phones with ultra 1080, high definition cameras on them way back when, because most of that stuff we probably don't want to see anymore anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
think
I
about
think
that one.
craziest will go back to Marla jumping in with her baby,
That
and
is pretty good.
knowing Marla enough for a split second, I maybe was convinced that was the baby. She got beat. Let's just put it that way, because I knew her well enough. So that's probably the craziest, and I think the most memorable ones are honestly like finishing the race and just like every year like finding that like fun swim hole and just go out there and just like be in the river and like be so stoked on the weekend and hang out with friends and having those post race stories and that good feeling like you've done something special in this really fun community. So I really like, yeah, I like that atmosphere after the race and just kind of like unwinding from the stress of the racing in some beautiful swimming environment.
We're going to try to ramp that up a little bit this year with the River Jump area and the Wild Island area. And I can't give out any info yet because it still is yet to be fully locked in, but it's going to be pretty exciting. So definitely stay tuned for that one. I've got an interesting. This is from one of your colleagues here, and don't worry, this isn't like a zinger of zingers, and I'm going to really put you on the spot. This is kind of more of an anecdotal, good story about someone who speaks very highly of you. And he had mentioned that he was racing a UCI cyclocross race with you in Bend. The temperature outside was about 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And he mentions he's in a full balaclava, massive coat, ski goggles. Basically, he looked like the little brother from A Christmas Story going out into the snow and getting ready to race cyclocross. And he comes up to Katerina, and she basically has arm warmers on, some mid-weight gloves, nothing on her face. He says she probably won the whole thing. He can't really remember, but probably won it like that. And he asked, Katerina, why aren't you wearing more clothes? And your response was, I'm from Czechoslovakia. I'm a alpine skier, Nordic skier. This is no problem. Can you guess who I may be talking about? The location may give it away.
Somebody from Bend, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, either Carl or Adam or Barry.
It was Carl. It was Carl Decker. Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I did race in Los Angeles the weekend before, and I came completely unprepared for that race. So it was probably putting on a tough, brave face because I just didn't have all that gear with me, and that's all I brought. So I had to pretend like it was cool. But
I meant to do this.
I totally have changed my mind since that race, and have done much better job packing because that was just as cold as it gets, and it was miserable. And I think I definitely won that race because I just needed to get off that course as quick as possible.
Get me to the finish line as soon as possible because I need a heater, something hot to drink, and something hot to put my feet in.
Yeah, but with those guys, it's a tough crowd, so you gotta stay strong and pretend like it's no big deal.
Oh yeah, you can't let the wolves smell any blood whatsoever. That's
exactly.
So we're coming up on our time here. So with the return of the Classic, this year will be the 25th anniversary, and started this whole thing back in 1995. So what kind of excites you the most? Post-pandemic, here it comes. It's the 25th anniversary. We're going to try to go big, but the return of the Downieville Classic.
Well, I'm really excited that it's back. Like, it's so nice to see this event make it through the pandemic. And I just can't wait to be there to race it, to be part of the community. So that's pretty special. And the other thing that I'm kind of excited about is an opportunity to race my special like Epic Evo at Downieville, because I've been riding it for 3 years now, and I was like, man, this is such a good Downieville bike. This is the bike I kind of always wanted, and so I'm really excited to just put it through the test in the race environment.
Well, it's definitely going to get tested. That's for sure. Well, Katerina, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, I feel honored, especially since you have a race going on this afternoon, as I'm sure you're going to jump off here and get ready to prepare for. Looking forward big time to seeing you in a few months in July in Downieville. And I've said your name many times on the podium, and probably more than any other. Maybe more than any other athlete that's raced any of our events, from Grinduro to Lost and Found to the Downieville Classic. But, thanks again for being here. Really appreciate your time, and, best of luck on the remainder of this season and getting back on the mountain bike.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and same to you guys. Best of luck with the final prep before the summer adventure begins, and I can't wait to see you guys at Downieville.
All right. Hey, have a great season. Good luck today, and we'll see you in Downieville.
Thank you, Marty. Have a good one.
You've been listening to Dirt Magic, the Downieville Sessions. I'm your host, Martin Scheel. Dirt Magic is produced by the Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship. Music selection courtesy of the Saddle Tramps. Stay tuned for our next Downieville Sessions, and thanks again for listening.